mid-January and coaches are on the move. Let's talk about two coaches in particular in their new respective cities and with their new respective teams. Let's start with Hugh Jackson in Cleveland. Definitely brings some excitement and some energy to this team that needs it so much. There are a lot of issues in Cleveland, but getting Hugh Jackson, I think getting a coach who's going to bring hard-nosed power football to the table will help this team. I mean, had they gone into a different direction, I really don't think what coach was going to be better for them and what coach was going to be available other than Hugh Jackson. I think they got the right man.
Definitely, I think they did get the right man. It's going to be a shame to let him go in Cincinnati. He was one of the better offensive coordinators we had in the last couple of years. Dalton was having a great year until he got injured, but I'm happy for Hugh Jackson, and I wish him all the best of luck in Cleveland.
Of course, this is his second head coaching gig. He had back in 2010 with the Raiders, led him to an 8-8 record. Almost made the playoffs, but they missed out on that in Week 17 with a loss to the Chargers. This is a new opportunity for Jackson, and I think he should be able to take advantage of it. Now, things will not go, there's going to be problems off the bat. This organization is in kind of a pretty big hole. There are a lot of problems that they're going to need to take care of. Right away, addressing their quarterback situation. I know that you think that's their biggest issue right now, and they're going to have to address that this offseason. Now, what do you think they should do with Johnny Manziel?
I think they need to cut him. This guy has created just a distraction off the field. He's getting into trouble. He's partying and doing all that stuff. He's just making this team look very, very bad and just having a bad vibe right now in the NFL with him.
Yeah, the team has been bad enough. They don't need a bad image as well off the field, and Manziel certainly brought that upon them. I think that he's already made it clear that he will likely get rid of Manziel. And then what's next for that? I mean, this is a team that struggled. They need some playmakers. There's rumors that Josh Gordon might be reinstated. I mean, the only really reliable receiver they had last year was Travis Benjamin, I believe. They brought in Dwayne Bowe. He didn't do squat for them. They need some playmakers. They'll probably get a quarterback in the first round, but apart from that, the defense has been okay. They need playmakers. I keep saying that, but they really do. After that, go ahead.
I don't think they need help on the defensive side of the ball. I think they need help offensively. Last year, a lot of their defense was hurt and banged up. Offense, as you said, they do need to get a quarterback in the first round. They need to get a solid running back. They've had a bad running game the last couple of years. And then they need to get a star wide receiver.
Yeah, they've had so many no-name running backs. Trent Richardson, obviously back in 2012, he had a phenomenal season, but they traded him for a first-round pick, or a couple first-round picks, which ended up being the right move. But they've just been unable to capitalize on these first-round picks. As you mentioned, injuries last year on the defense. Joe Hayden, even when he was playing, he was not 100%. I mean, it surely didn't look like it. Kind of an off year. They still have problems. I mean, they drafted Danny Shelton in the first round last year, defensive nose tackle, He hasn't lived up to expectations. Now, it was just his rookie year. We think that there'd be some optimism, but we will see moving forward. They definitely have a good offensive lineman. Now, whether Joe Thomas comes back, that's up in the air. I know Hugh Jackson made it a goal of his to bring him back. We'll see moving on. Let's get to another head coach in another city, and that was Chip Kelly in San Francisco. Also, his second head coaching gig in San Francisco, as he's been with the Eagles the last few years. Now, Kelly's the more proven head coach out of the two, but I don't know. I mean, this gig might be worse than the Browns gig.
Well, I like what the Niners did with Chip Kelly. I think the only way that he can have success in San Francisco is if they keep calling Kaepernick and then run that offense.
I don't see how you could pay this guy $12 million a year and keep him on your roster. He's a quarterback that completed just 58% of his passes last season, threw 6 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions.
Well,
I mean, right now he's on a $100 million contract. I don't think
he's overpaid.
Then they're gonna have to reconstruct that contract.
Yeah, no doubt. He is definitely overpaid.
You don't think Blaine Gabbert? You don't think Blaine Gabbert's capable of playing like Nick Foles in 2013? I see some resemblance. I mean, as far as arm goes, I mean, they have pretty good arm strength, both of them. but Gabbert won't chuck it down the field. And really, Foles didn't do that a lot in 2013 either, though.
I know.
It was.
But Kaepernick, I think, can run this more. I mean, that's what
It's a pretty big gamble.
wants.
If they keep Kaepernick, it's a gamble, nonetheless. I mean, he's a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback, but Nick Foles not a running quarterback, and he did fine. I mean, in 2014, he was 6-2 until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Now, that 13 or 14 was a little bit of a different year. I mean, they went 10-6, didn't make the playoffs. And then, of course, 2015, that Eagles team, Kelly was 6-9. This past year was a disaster for the Eagles.
No doubt about it. And I mean, I think he just needs to stop making the management decisions.
As he made it clear that he won't.
Yes.
He won't have control of personnel. Maybe he'll have a little bit of input, but not. I mean, he won't have full-on control, hands-on of personnel like he did in 2015.
Yeah, and I think that's what ultimately led to his firing.
Yeah, I think Chip Kelly, the GM, not so great. Chip Kelly, the coach, I think there's definitely a lot. I mean, he's a really smart coach. Belichick made it clear that he was a friend, and he was surprised that he got fired in Philadelphia. Let me ask you this. Who has the better gig, though? Hugh Jackson or Chip Kelly?
I only will say Chip Kelly if they keep calling Kaepernick. If they don't, and they have to start him. If they don't, then I say Hugh Jackson does. So it's a toss-up right there.
Either way, they don't. I mean, you look at Kaepernick last year. Do you consider Kaepernick a approved quarterback?
No.
Is he a proven quarterback in the NFL?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Neither of these teams will make the playoffs in 2016.
I agree with that. I mean, I would be flabbergasted if either team does, especially in the divisions they play in, with the other three teams in their divisions pretty good.
Yeah. But what would you say about who do you think got the better coaching gig?
Well, I mean, as far as talent-wise, none of these teams have a whole lot of talent. I'm actually going to go Hugh Jackson. I know this organization has been just such a stink the last 10 years, and the Niners just a few years ago were in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. Both teams are struggling and struggled in 2015. They're going to need some, a shot in the arm, both teams will. But I think Hugh Jackson will do that for the Browns. I'm sure the Niners will be improved on offense, but I don't know about defense. The Eagles ranked 30th in passing last season, and running they weren't much better. I believe they were 28th. So there's a lot of questions on the defense. Like I said, the offense should be better, but I don't know how much Chip Kelly can do to sustain a decent defense, especially playing in the NFC West.
Yeah, the NFC West is one of the tougher divisions of football, but at the same time,
as the AFC North, yeah,
the AFC North is extremely tough. I mean, this year it was a little bit easier because the Ravens didn't have a lot of their star players. Pittsburgh was up and down, and then Cincinnati obviously won the division.
Well, who has the better record next year, Cleveland or San Francisco?
I'm going to say Cleveland does, just by a slim margin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cleveland, too. I say expect 6-10, 7-9. They have a lot of work to do, but I think Hugh Jackson will have, he'll have opportunities. This team should be improved next year.
Definitely.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Logan, for joining me.